Hey guys, my name is Zane Shockley and I am a senior at Myers Park High School. I am with a team of high schoolers from all around Charlotte doing the New Gym Peace Builders program and wanted to share more about our topic and how it will be relevant to your time with the residents at Holy Angels. Our project is unique because it deals with the significance of empathy in everyday life and exposing your group to the members of Holy Angels, which is a unique opportunity. I hope this video will be helpful for you to learn more about empathy, and I'm excited to work with you. In talking about empathy, we should first define what empathy really is. Empathy is often mixed up with sympathy, which is the ability to identify and feel sorry for someone's troubles. But empathy is the ability to imagine the perspective of another person and what it would be like to live in their shoes. Now, a clear distinction we must make is that empathy is not a character trait or a virtue, but a skill that is used for understanding others and leaving our opinionated biases behind and connecting with people. Like any other skill you would use for sports or playing an instrument, skills need to be practiced and trained to truly develop it. Now, before we can practice our empathy, I want to break down the different types of empathy. There are two types of empathy, emotional and cognitive. Emotional empathy focuses on the compassion that someone feels for another person because they can understand the emotional stress that person is experiencing and wants to help. An example of this is when you see somebody fall and cut their knee. You can understand what emotion they are feeling because you have had a similar situation happen to you. Cognitive empathy, on the other hand, is trying to understand someone else's perspective and how others may be affected by a situation, as well as understanding that there may be other perspectives to a situation. Cognitive empathy is much harder to develop and in need of the most amount of training. So we will focus on this type of empathy more in this video and at the workshop. Cognitive empathy is also correlated to reflective empathy, which is the ability to analyze another person's perspective to understand what they might be feeling. This is developed through analyzing situations and comparing them to your own understanding of those hardships or comparing it to your own life. And it can be also developed by starting to notice emotional cues such as facial expressions and behaviors. This can help build connections between emotional states and others' perspectives, and can even help to predict someone's emotional response to a certain situation, like being wounded or sad. This is very impactful on being self-aware, reacting to different situations, handling relationships, and has a significant role in your emotional intelligence, which is an individual's ability to be aware of, control, and express one's own emotions. Now, if you are anything like me when I first heard this information, I didn't really see the impact of empathy on my life. I then realized that empathy is a part of every conversation you have and is vital for creating relationships with others and reacting to difficult situations. If you have ever had a hard conversation, whether it be with someone whose relative just died, or someone who's down on themselves, or someone who's completely opposite from you, or you don't even know them, empathy is at play in how we handle these situations, which helps us to be more self-aware of how we are feeling and diminishes self-bias that we are always right. Earlier, I mentioned a thing called emotional intelligence. You may be shocked at how much this soft skill is linked to success. In the job industry, emotional intelligence accounts for 58% of an individual's job performance. This is not as important to y'all or to the workshop, but it is a good example of how powerful and meaningful emotional intelligence and empathy are to the things around us all the time. A bigger reason why empathy is important is that it helps to combat emotional hijack. Emotional hijack is caused when the amygdala, a part of the brain that serves as one of our main emotion centers, senses threats that mean to harm you. This is a trait that we have to help us survive, like being able to run faster than usual when in fear of a threat. Due to the reliance of this emotional center for survival, this part of the brain responds 100 times faster than does your neocortex, which is responsible for higher levels of thinking and reasoning. This is helpful when we are faced with a physical threat, but oftentimes, we get emotional hijack from perceived threats, like parent yelling at us to shape up, or when we have a conflict with a friend. This emotional hijack can cloud our reasoning and make us act impulsively, but empathy can help us to take a step back and view other perspectives, which combats unreasonable, impulsive actions that are caused by emotional hijack. I know that was a lot of information to hear in such a short amount of time, so a takeaway from everything you just learned is that trying to understand other people's perspectives as if you were walking in their shoes will create better relationships around you, create a nicer environment where everyone tries to understand what others might be feeling, and it helps you to be more aware of your own emotions and how to act in different situations. This is so important if we want to create peace in our world, and through empathy, you can improve how we treat each other and start cooperating and stop fighting. You don't have to change your whole life, just try and imagine yourself in another person's shoes and see what they might be feeling, and that will go a long way. Now I would like to introduce you to the Holy Angels organization who you will be working with on Wednesday. Since being founded in 1955, their mission has been to provide compassionate, dependable care and opportunities for high-quality living to those with intellectual developmental disabilities and delicate medical conditions through physical, social, spiritual, educational, vocational, and emotional support. Holy Angels believes in the possibility of greatness in every individual and in the right that each individual has the highest quality of life. Here is a clip from Holy Angels to learn more about the great work that they do every single day.
Angels are in motion. You can feel them all around us. Angels touch our hearts. They're with us and can be seen in the most extraordinary places. In the peacefulness of slumber, in the most ordinary routines, and in the miracle of life itself. Angels are in motion. Gently moving about on gossamer wings. Quietly down the halls, on the way to school. In these rooms, angels have made their home. They bring music and laughter and light. Our angels are the guardians of smiles and move gracefully through life's challenges. Angels soar where water and sky meet. They show us the beauty of nature, and we are in awe of it all.
In this clip, you got to see some of the operations at Holy Angels and see what individuals you'll be working with on Wednesday. The group at New Gym Peace Builders thought that this would be a great workshop because the Boys and Girls Club can learn about empathy, provide Holy Angels residents with a fun time to meet people and do crafts, and to help you to develop empathy as you work with the Holy Angels residents. Through empathetic observation, we know that even though the residents may have intellectual developmental issues and delicate medical conditions, does not mean that they are any different than you. They are all people on this earth with a heart and a brain, and they show the same emotions as you and like a lot of the same things as you, like music and doing fun activities. This is an important distinction as we go forward, and especially important to remember when working with the residents. Now that you've learned a little bit about empathy and Holy Angels, I want to finish off by tying them together. One of the most important strategies to develop and act with empathy in mind is active listening. Active listening is a powerful empathetic skill, especially in regards to this workshop, because engaging in what the residents are talking to you about helps to create better relationships between you and the residents and makes the event more meaningful. Some tips to actively listen is to stop talking and focus on what the speaker is trying to say to you, and paying close attention to how you respond. Active listening is so critical because it helps the listener to understand the speaker's perspective more clearly and makes the speaker feel like they are actually being heard. Try to practice focusing on the speaker and try to learn about their perspectives because it will help to bring you closer together and show compassion. I hope that learning about empathy and how to practice it has helped you to prepare for the workshop in your everyday lives. But I want you to know that the group of New Gym Peace Builders really just wants you to have a good time and make relationships with the residents at Holy Angels. I hope that this video was helpful to prepare you for Wednesday, but I would love it if you could take a 5-minute survey to give me feedback on the video and anything that was unclear so I can hopefully address it at the workshop. The link to this survey is listed in the description. Thank you so much for watching.